So today, guys, we're going to be talking about a build that I think a lot of you guys will benefit from if you're trying to complete the new Manhunt mission on Heroic. You guys know we have a drone, we actually get 2 of them, and then we have the Warhounds. And a lot of people have been asking me, yo, Skillz, what build were you using to complete it? And I'll tell you, this build that I'm using, that you guys are seeing gameplay of, will 100% work, and it will make it a lot easier. You guys should be able to complete it on your first time go. I'll also give you some tips, some tricks on what I use to actually do this, like with skills, with techniques, but overall it's pretty simple. This build would 100 do most of the work, and when you get to one of the hardest bosses, right, the one that everybody's struggling with, the fire, this build has enough survivability. The main thing you want to do is make sure you don't face tank the flame turret, just keep moving around. But overall, it should be pretty easy to take out because you won't take a lot of damage, because you have the protection from elites, and then also you have a ton of armor, which helps there too. As you guys are seeing here, I took a bunch of shots to the face. Even when I take like a shot, look at that, I took a grenade shot, barely took any damage, and then I was able to instantly drop my booster. So I'll show you the build that I was using and the build that I suggest using. Now there could be plenty of different builds you guys can use, but I was able to do this solo on my main account, and pretty easy, wasn't hard at all. So let's get into it. So first off, for the build, you guys want to run the technician class. The reason why I would use it is because this actually has a perk that you do more damage to those robotic dogs. So what do we end up fighting a lot in this mission? Yes, those dogs, even the chopper. So all that is actually helped out with this launcher, the technician specialization. So you want to make sure you have the technician specialization, and that is the first thing you guys want. Now for the weapon, I wanted to get the hardest hitting weapon I could. And since I am running a build that's built around survivability, we need some damage. And the Kingbreaker does that, right? Because it has a talent called Perfect Flatline, amplifies weapon damage by 20% to pulse enemies. And then since I have the technician class, I have the link laser pointer, it helps out. We have assault rifle, health damage, and damage to targets out of cover. So this definitely helps with the damage I'm going to be put out. Obviously I have this at 22 expertise, so I'm getting more damage there, but obviously if you can only get 10, it will work just fine. Secondary, the Scorpio is king because you have the shotgun damage, damage to armor, critical damage, and then what this does, it poison, disorient shocks, and then the target takes additional 20% damage from all sources. Now that's a good thing because you can do that damage, right? You can swap to your Kingbreaker and then do additional damage. So yeah, these two kind of my go-tos for this build. So for the build, we have the chill out mask. If you don't have this mask, run a regular mask. The ideal behind this build is to have lots of armor. So you can see we get 5% total armor here. We have armor rolled on here, and then we have critical hit chance, and then we have protection from elites. So that's what we have on this build right here, and it works. So you have 12% protection from elites and 12% protection from elites, and kind of what I went with this build. If you guys have the regular guard mask and you can't run 2 protection from elites here, well then you might need to swap over the gloves, and I'll show you in a second. For the chest, we're running the closer chest. We have total armor here, and we have armor on the chest. So remember, we want to have a lot of armor on this, 1.9 million. It's all because the chest and the mask both give me 5% total armor. We have armor here, critical damage, critical chance, and then we have 13% protection from elites. And then look, we have Perfect Spotter, amplifies total weapon damage and skill damage by 20% to pulse enemies. So that means I could have run a lot of different things. I had a skill damage build on here, a skill damage skill on here with this build, but I ran it in different ways, and you'll see in a second. But obviously you can run this a lot of different ways. For the holster, we're running the improvised holster. This is going to give us armor, crit damage, crit chance, and then obviously we have another 12% protection from elites. These improvised holster pieces, the improvised pieces period, you have to craft them. They do not drop in the open world. They're all craftable, and that's what's cool about it, because these are the only slots that give you a mod slot on here. So I'm able to stack more protection from elites. And then the improvised knee pad, same thing, 12% protection from elites. We have armor, crit chance, crit damage. And then since I was able to have the chill out mask, I was able to put that protection from elites 2 there. If you don't, you need to get rid of this Fender's piece, the 10% assault rifle damage, and you need to put the improvised piece. So improvised gloves, and then put a 12% protection from elites, or 13%, whatever you have. Weapon damage, crit chance, crit damage is what I have on mine. If you don't have this, you'll do the same thing. You'll do weapon damage, crit damage, crit chance, and then put the protection from elites. You just won't have that extra 10% assault rifle damage. For the backpack, I went with the Matador backpack. This gives us 5% weapon damage. We have armor. we have critical chance, critical damage, and then 12% protection from elites. And then it has perfect adrenaline rush. Whenever you are within 10 meters of an enemy, you gain 23% bonus armor for 5 seconds. This does stack up to 3 times. So this definitely works really good, giving you that survivability you need. If you want to have more damage, you can swap it out. But overall, this is the build I was using. I was using a jammer pulse for those drones, and then a booster hive. But like I said, since I am running perfect spotter, I can take advantage of the running like an assault turret, and that would help too. But overall, this is the build. I actually put this out on my other channel, but a lot of people were asking me what build did I run to get through it. So if you're having trouble getting through this mission on Heroic, you can run this from start to finish and complete the mission. You won't have any issues as you guys were seeing at the beginning. This does great work on both. So if you guys are looking for a build that can help you complete the new Manhunt on Heroic and fight those Warhounds, here you guys go. This is the build. And let's just take a look at the stats. 56% crit chance, 104 crit damage, 75% headshot damage, 21% health damage. And we go down here, you can see 73% protection from elites. So that's why this build is so good against that Warhound, and not that Warhound, against the turrets. If you notice, there is parts in this mission where you run against, they're actually elite turrets, they're gold turrets, and it helps out too, allows you to literally shoot anytime you get those striker drones. Those guys too, very easy to survive. Just a lot of really good benefits for this, because that protection from elites is going to allow you to not even have to worry about running unbreakable or something. You see, I'm taking damage, but what's happening? My adrenaline rush is proccing, and then I'm able to get in cover, and I'm able to damage everything. The only thing that will hit you pretty hard that you kind of want to focus are purple non-elites, but if they're gold, they're not going to be doing much to you, right? And then with that adrenaline rush, it's almost like, look at this, I am taking a ton of damage. And that's what's so good about this build and why this works, not just with the Warhounds, but with the whole mission in general. Anytime there are elites, anytime they're gold turrets, anytime they're gold drones, man, this is the build that you guys want to try. One thing, just remember, when you are fighting this guy, you just want to keep moving. Your goal is to keep moving as much as possible. You will have the survivability to not have to really worry about getting one shot, right? You will have that survivability to be able to get a little close to him, but you do have to be careful, because that burn still burns, because we aren't running a burn resistance build. You technically could and test it out and see if you like it, but I wanted something that worked great from start to finish, and this build did it for me. Even when I do get burned, it's like you see right there, I got hit with it. It's pretty quick, only takes off a little chunk. And then what really hurts is right there, you see, when I try to face him, then I run away, but it stops, right? And we can just keep moving around. And even if I get hit with one of those bombs, like the drones, you see, the drones barely doing anything to me. So I just got to drop him real quick. And then there's another one. So that's why having the jammer pulse, you can run the booster hive, deflector drone. There's a lot of things you can run here. Look, burn really didn't mess with me. It was right next to me. So just something for you guys to keep in mind, some little tips and tricks. Hopefully this helps you guys out. Remember, if you guys have any questions, let me know. I'll see you guys in the next one. Hey, Nothing But Skills out. Take it easy, everybody.